Right, here we go then with part 2. And you'll have to excuse me if I cough a bit. Got a bit of a cough. Right, what we're going to do now then is an intro to the modelling in this part 2. Create some, create a couple of characters maybe, and a joystick was the other thing I had in mind. So let's get right to it. But let's hide that camera. We don't need to see that. Let's hide that light. And the first thing we're going to create is a simple Minecraft character. I've got reference on my other monitor, but I don't want any copyright issues really, so I'm not going to, you won't be able to download that. But what you want to do basically is download PureRef and then Google Getty Images, for example, or your reference images. You've got stuff to obviously look at as reference when you're modelling. So right, this first thing we're going to create then, let's just create a simple Minecraft character. So there's a cube that can be used, that can, as the head. So let's move that up. This is going to be the head. This is simple cube. Let's wireframe. I like to say wireframe, I do, so I can see my edges. You can just do that by going into your overlays there, wireframe. Yeah, that's going to be the head. Let's put that into edit mode. And we'll add like some simple, let's add a loop cut there. We'll add some simple eyes. And then later on down the line we're going to texture this stuff. Obviously this is an introduction. So yeah, let's add that there. Let's add these loops in here. That's going to be the eye. So what you can do then, go into face mode, select those two, and what we'll do there, we'll extrude that. Just nudge it in a bit, create the eye. And we'll create a simple mouth as well. Even though this is painted on the, you know, on the actual characters, we're just gonna, so we got a guide. We're just gonna create a simple mouth and eyes for this. A mouth. Just there. I forgot to do my screencast. I promise I'll do the screencast keys for the next lesson. Face mode. Yeah. Extrude that in. It's created your mouth. But let's make that mouth a little bit bigger. So we'll go into just grab that, scale, just to make that mouth a bit bigger, out of wireframe. There's the mouth. So that's basically the head, but just so it's not so linear, what we'll do as well, we'll grab the edges, grab all these edges here. Grab all these edges. I mean, you can go to select edge loops. I've done that really. So we've selected all them edges there. Just so it's not so linear. Let's go to Bevel. And just bevel it all. Just so it's not so sharp. That's basically the head. That is of a Minecraft character. Next up, let's create the body. So, object mode, add, mesh, cube. And by the way, that's got values on it there, so what you want to do, Control A, all transforms to deltas, and that'll maintain the pivot point. And it'll also give you 0 values there. So yeah, body, move that up. And scale it in the X. Scale it a touch in the X there. And what we can do into edit mode, let's select that face, move that face down. Select that face, move that face up a bit. Select your edge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Select edge loops. It hasn't done it there. Select all them. Let's bevel that again. As I say, so it's not so linear again. Bevel it a touch. Beveled all the edges. Now we want to think about proportions now. This character. So let's move that head up. And obviously when you move it's going to give you values. It's not super important, but I just like to work cleanly. So we'll do that last, but yeah, let's move that up. Let's move that body up. I think we'll put him into a bit of a running pose. Oh yeah. So let's go into vertex mode. Let's select that edge. Oh, the vertices, sorry, and then vertices. Shift S. Cursor to selected. And let's put the cursor there with them vertices. Now if you go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor, that'll move your pivot origin point there. You can pivot it the bottom. So a running pose, kind of tilted forward, isn't it? But before we do that, let's think logically. Let's move that head down there. It's pretty much sitting on there. Select the head. Select the body. Control P. Object. Keep transform. Now when you move that, that head will move as well. And it saves having to rotate them both. So let's put him going forward like that. So he's kind of like in a running pose. Excuse me. So yeah, something like that. So that's the torso and the head tilting forward there. Let me just check this bandicam's running. Yeah, we're alright. We're running. Right. Excuse the pun. This character's running. Right, so that's the body and the head. Let's add the mesh. Cube. Let's just move that to the side so it's out the way and I can see it properly. Let's scale that in Y. Scale that in X. Pretty much a cube shape. So. Scale that in X there. Let's go into edit mode, face, Shift S, cursor to selected, object mode, object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. So what we've done again is like before, we're pivoting that arm with the shoulder, yeah, pretty much. what I'm going to do now as well, I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to loop cut about there, create like a sleeve. And I'm also going to add another loop cut there. Then what I'm going to do next, select face mode. I'm going to select these faces here. I'm going to extrude about PT. Oh, that's it, yeah. You right click and you extrude faces along the normal. And then bring that in a bit. So yeah, remember that command there. You can right click on a lot of modelling stuff. It brings up another menu for you. And that's quite important, that is. Extrude faces along normal. Yeah, some important little settings in there. So, yeah, that's your sleeve. Go back into object mode. And then let's have that arm going backwards. And let's bring that arm up there like that. So his arms heading backwards. And I think pretty much when the character's running, the arms, well, in general, it goes like, I think the pivot point on a Minecraft character is somewhere around there for the shoulder. So yeah, his arm's heading back. You may adjust the proportions on this arm, let's see how it looks, but that's the one arm. Excuse me. What we can do now, if we Shift D and then enter, we've duplicated this arm there. We've got our other arm. And then what we can do then is rotate this arm forward. So you've got your one arm going back and your one arm going forward. There you go. I think we'll just scale this as much. So let's go into normal. In your transform, normal, you want to select. Oh, hang on, you've got that. Because you've got the head parented to the body, that's going to scale the head as well. So we don't really want that. We'll have to go into vertex mode. You want see-through there. Scale. And you can just scale the body a bit. So if you're in object mode and that's parented, it'll scale the head as well. So you didn't want that. That's an important one as well. This let me just fire up Epic Pen. Nice, where's my Epic Pen gone? There you go. Ignore the update. But yeah, that's we use that quite a lot. There, you can see through. In other words, you can see through to select vertices that are at the back as well as the front. Yeah, let's just work that out for now. Don't need that for now. Let's go out of transparent. Alright, back on the character. You want legs now. And pretty much the legs on Minecraft characters are similar to the arms. So let's Shift D, enter. Let's move that down there. And that's obviously wrong. That bit there. You want that to be the foot. So what we can do there we can go into edit mode, select the face, Shift S, cursor to selected, and then in object mode, we want to go to object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. And you're going to use that a lot as well. Origin to 3D cursor. Really useful. So now we've done that, it's pivoting from that point. So remember we're creating a run there, a run pose. So back into global. Let's move that arm, leg, sorry, to something like that, isn't it? Remember when the arm's back, the leg's back. So maybe something like that. Shift D, enter, rotate, pivot, and that's your other arm, leg, sorry. Move that to there. You've got, let's rotate that to say there. Let's try this. That's a good idea. So what you want to do now, select the, yeah, we'll select the arm, the leg, then the body, last. Control P, big transform. If you select the body now, it's all moving. You've parented there. And let's just proportions aren't too bad, I don't think. Maybe the torso might be a touch too big, so let's go into edit mode, vertices, normal, move that up a little bit. We've obviously got to move the legs up a bit. Global. Move that back a bit. You want that on the floor though, really, that leg. You want that leg on the floor. So he's grounded. There. That. Yeah. Edit mode, see through. Have to move that torso back down after all. It's only the leg. Balance. Grab that leg. I think we'll move that a bit there. If you've done it to that one, you've got to do it to that one. It's a transparent. I think he kind of deforms like that. Minecraft character. Yeah, it's a simple Minecraft character that. Not sure if he's running really, it's kind of a run walk. Yeah, it's similar to that really. I'm just looking at the reference here. I mean, you can add a few little other things. Maybe you could go into edit mode there. Move that, yeah. You could create a loop cut here, for example. And maybe he's wearing a belt. Some kind of simple belt. And when we get onto texturing, we'll just add maybe add a little belt buckle. Add a bit of visual interest to it. Guess we could also bevel these arms. But you know, we haven't. We've beveled the head and torso. Let's keep them more linear. So yeah, that could be a simple Minecraft character really. Let's just add a bit of hair as well. Let's go into edit mode. Loop cut. We'll just maybe add some simple hair to it. So along there, down. What else could you add? Suppose you could select that, go into edit mode, add another loop cut there. And then maybe another loop cut there. There. And there. And we could just add like, what we could do, just add a bit of skin. Let me texture it if he's got a bit of a simple t-shirt on. And I guess the belt would be lower down, wouldn't it really? Yeah. Let's go vertex. Let's grab them vertices there. Local. Just move that right down there. So there's your Minecraft character. Simple little Minecraft character. Kind of striding, not walking, not running. Kind of, I don't know, cantering if you will. Yeah, there you go. Simple Minecraft character. So what you want to do last of all on this, you want to go Control A, Delta, select them all. Control A, all transforms to deltas. And by doing that, you've zeroed all them out, so it's nice and clean. They're all zero, instead of stuff like 1.2347. You don't want that. They're nice and clean there. And then to top it off, let's rename this. Always work cleanly. That's your head. That's your SR arm, which means screen right. SL arm, screen left. It's on the left side. That's how I like to work personally. I don't like to work on his left arm and his right. I like to work screen left. So as you're looking at it, it's on your left. Double click and you can rename. Also. So as you can see there, you've got your head, your arms and legs, and they're parented to this torso. Child, 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 child. That's the parent. So if you remember from the intro video, if you move that parent, all these objects will move. Just rub that out. So yeah, that's your simple Minecraft character, and we'll go a bit further with that later on down the course. Texture it, unwrap it, probably do a little animation as well on it. So yeah, Minecraft character, that's your first one. So what we'll do now, if you shift click that eye, so shift click, you'll hide everything. And what we can do to keep it nice and neat, right click in there, new collection, Minecraft. If I can spell, character. And we'll move, simply click and drag all this into the Minecraft character collection. If you shift click, and the head as well, if you shift click that, will show or hide everything. Let's just shift click and hide it. Let's check what time we're on. So we're on 27 minutes. Let's try and do another model then. Let's try and do a simple R2D2. Obviously not going to be all the details of it, but let's try R2. So add mesh. He's got quite a cylindrical form, really, R2D2. So let's scale that a bit. You click Shift S, you can go cursor to world origin. So let's put it nice and central. Now if you Shift S again, selection to cursor, and he's took it there. So you're nice and centralised. But he's took it to the centre. If you move that up there, you go, move that up. Don't worry about these values for now. So R2D2. So edit mode. Let's select all them vertices. Let's move that up. Now on his base, let's move that up. We'll come out of transparent. We'll go into face mode. We'll select that face. And we'll extrude that down. And then we'll scale it. There you go. We're going to move that. Excuse me, up a bit. Then we'll create another extrusion. Yeah. We'll scale that. And it looks like the base kind of goes back into itself. What we could do there, we could inset that a bit like that. Then we can again go to extrude. Extrude that up. That's the bottom part. Just into the top part. I mean, his head spins, doesn't it? So what we could do there, we can grab that face and extrude that up. We'll scale that in. And then we'll extrude that up again and scale it in. Move that down a bit. Go into edge mode. Let's create a few loop cuts here. There's a loop cut there. Scale that. There's a loop cut there. Scale that. Select the face. Let's try and inset, I think, on that. Let's inset that face a bit. Bring that up. I think we'll inset again. Yeah. And really, his head's similar to that, isn't it, really? I know it's not perfect. This is an intro. Now, nothing's going to be perfect on this intro to modelling, but that's R2D to us, yeah? What we want to do now is his head spins, remember? We'll go into edge mode. We'll create loop cut there. Here's mine. Ah, this cough. They're half linger, don't they, these coughs? Really do. I'm still not too happy about the head yet. Let's go into transparent vertex and select those. Scale that a bit. Remember to look from all angles as well. Scale that a bit. That feels a little bit better. But yeah, if we want to separate that head really. So let's go into edit mode. Create another loop cut there. And another loop cut there. If we go into transparent again and select all them around there, what you can do then is right click, extrude along normals, extrude that in a bit, back into transparent vertices. We'll move that down because it's too wide, that is. Move it right down. We've got a little groove there now. A little groove. Now what we want to do now, into transparent again, into face mode. So you're selecting the transparent so you can select the ones at the back. Without it, you'll only select the front facing ones. So you've selected all in. I would say transparent. I'd say you also want to So we also probably want to select these as well around here. Select all them faces there in the groove. Can be awkward sometimes to see and select. Just part of 3D modelling, really. So we're selecting all these around here. Looks like that's all of them selected. I was just moving that to test. What you want to do now, you want to go to Mesh, Separate Selection. That's give you a separate part now. You want to go Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. Now if you rotate that, head's going to pivot around the centre of the object. We'll try and animate that later down the line. So that's the head. Need a sip of water. Right, that's the head. Let's just see what time we're on here. On 36 minutes. Alright, I'm just worried. I don't want to be here for hours and hours because you'll get bored. So I might not. I'll try and do a simple joystick at the end because I promised 3 models. So let's crack on now. That's the body. Let's go into edit mode. Loop cut. Select the right object. Do it right. Right. Let's just create a few things here for some panels. So I'm just creating a few simple panels here. Nothing complex really. That there. Another one there. Another one there. I'm just loosely basing it on the reference. I'm not going overboard on this. Let's go into face mode. And it looks like got some kind of panel. There are two. Let's try inset face. We'll push it in a little bit. So it has a bit of visual interest. Just a touch. It's more of a stylised R2. This is, like I say, it's loosely based on it really. It's nothing. This is an intro to modelling. Remember, I'm not going to be modelling a complex R2D2 character. So if we bring them down, what we can do then is go into edit mode, face mode. Actually, just so it separates, let's add a little cut there. We can separate it. It looks like he's got some kind of panel or some kind of goes inwards there. If we select that face and that face, really, we don't want that edge there. We don't want that edge there. If you select them edges and hit delete, dissolve edges, that'll get rid of the edges but maintain the shape. What we can do then, we can go into face mode. Inset faces. Yeah. And then we'll go to extrude. We'll take them in like that. I mean, obviously, These are rounded on the original character. More rounded. But like I've said, this is just an intro to modelling. We'll try and do a bit more complex stuff down the line. Really. Yeah, let's say them panels go in there. Obviously, if you wanted to round it, you can do things like insert another loop there. You know, select the vertices, for example, and move it up. No. And then there again, so it'd be more rounded, but you're not going that complex, are you? Not as though that's complex, but you know where I'm coming from. Looks like he's got a few little grooves of some kind going on here, like a stack. So you could add another object really to there. We could go to add, mesh, cube, scale that cube down, move that cube up, move it out. Again, scale it there, scale it a bit, rotate it so it's flush, move it along. It looks like he's got some kind of fuse. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 kind of fuses. What you could do there, you could go into your modifiers, add a modifier, generate an array. What did he say? 6. It's not in the X. It's in the Z. It's something like that. He created an offset. Let's round it up to 3. They've created an array modifier there. Some simple little fuses. I think your bevel, let's select them edges. I think if you bevel one, you'll bevel all of them. Bevel. Yep, there you go. It's beveled all of them. Simple little bevel. Yeah. Let's move on. We do want to create on this a simple eye. So let's go to let's go into edit mode, select the face and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Something like that. Maybe a bit too big. Should we try that? Maybe that's a bit too small. Let's just go for that. That'll do for now. I'll select them 4. Make sure you're on extrude. Let's just extrude that out. Right, his eye shape. Let's go into vertex mode. Let's select them vertices there. Scale that out a bit. Let's also select those vertices there. Just scale that out a bit. His eye shape. Oh, there's a bit more. Rotate around, see how it looks. And obviously, into edit mode, select your faces there. Actually, select them edges there. Delete. Dissolve your edges. So you've just got the one face now. Then what we can do, we do want this to be round, to be fair. So let's try insetting. We'll inset that. Inset it. Scale it. Scale. And then what we can do then, we go into edge mode. Subdivide. Select all those edges. Mesh. Let's see, edge. Subdivide. Vertex. That means you've created more vertices. So. And what we can do then, if we click X there, what happens on the one side happens on the other. So we'll move these. Let's just undo that, Control Z. You want to be in normal. Move that in. Let's move that in. Move that down. Up. Move that in a touch there. Move that in a touch. Hasn't got to be perfect, but what we can do then, if we select that face, scale, select that, extrude, move that up a bit. It's kind of like an eye shape. Far from perfect, but there you go, that's the roundness of the eye. Not 100% happy with it, but what we could do to make it better, I suppose, is go to Add Mesh, Sphere. If we move that sphere up there, scale it, rotate it around, move it out, scale it a bit more, oops, scale, rotate, move that down, that up there. That feels better. That. Just don't like them edges there. I don't know if that. I think that feels better, really. No. We didn't have to really separate the edges. Looks a bit cheap. That. There's that. I'm not sure. think I'm going to leave it like that because it's more stylised for now. We'll leave it like that. And obviously select that, double click. I'll call that obviously I. Then we'll select the head. Control P, keep transform. When you move the head, that moves. Just feel that eye should be bigger, really now. That'll do for now. I think that's enough for the body. So what we need to do now is create some simple, well, legs really. So let's add a mesh cube. Let's move that to there. Seems like it's on his head. Near the arm start. I feel this head should be a bit bigger. Let's scale. Scale that. Right, back to the leg. Check this reference. So, get the basic shape first. Scale that. Move that to there. Go into edit mode. Loop cut. Loop cut there. Loop cut. Loop cut. Transparent, vertic. Select the right tool. Move that up. Move the middle one up. Move them down. Something like that. Ace of transparent. Select them vertices there. Let's just move that across. Just out the way a bit for now. There. And it goes. Maybe select them two. Move them down. Then we've got extrude. Let's move that down. Extrude again. This time. Scale in Y. Scale in X. Extrude again. Move that down. You just check the reference here again. So that comes down there. And then this is the PureRef, by the way. It's on my other monitor. So I think we'll extrude again. Extrude again. Scale. And it looks like extrude again. But I say I'll be doing a lot of extruding and loop cutting. That goes in there. And then if we go into edge mode, we add a little loop cut there, loop cut there, Loop cut there. Yeah. Maybe we can just add a couple of grooves, for example. So, face mode. Let's select maybe that. Hit shift, select that. Right click. Extrude along normals. Just a little groove in there. We need to try and keep this simple because it's an intro to modelling. So, edit mode, vertices, select all in, shift this, cursor to selected, object set origin to 3D cursor. I'll pivot there now. Let's move that to there. I think that's a bit thicker, really, that. This bit here. I think let's scale that. It's a bit thick. Then we need to add an edge loop just in there. Then we need to scale that edge loop. Just back to being straight. Something like that. Object mode. And obviously, this really, if you want it perfect, his leg goes like that. But we'll probably get onto that later. But let's just keep it simple now. Let's Control Z. Other important command, Control Z. Where does that fit on there? Looks like he's got a little cylinder in there. So what we can do, we can go to Add, Mesh, Cylinder. And it adds the cylinder where the cursor is. So we can rotate that by typing in 90. We'll scale that. We'll bring it down. We'll bring it somewhere around, I don't know. There, so scale it a bit so it doesn't come out the other side. Yeah, that looks about right. Select that. Control P, keep transform. Just looking at the reference then. It should be moved up. It should. So he's off the ground. Move that up. Obviously now I've moved that up. I need to move these fuses up. I never parented it. So select that in your body. Control P, keep transform. When you move that, that'll move. You want the head also. Control P. When you move the body, it's all moving. Let's move this leg into. Looks like it's got to come down a bit, that. Let's move that down so it's there. Cutting into there. Edit mode, transparent. Move these feet up to the floor. There you go. That's a simple simple leg really, very linear. If we select edge loops, bevel that in a bit so it's not as linear. You can create, just so it's got a little bit more visual interest, let's add mesh, cylinder, scale that cylinder, scale it in Z, move it down here, rotate it. We've added a simple little, looks like he's got a kind of little cylinder there. So, a simple little cylinder in. Select the leg, Control P. When you move the leg, all that moves. Feel as if this body should be bigger really. Then I feel as if this head might be a bit too big now. So let's just move that. And scale that a touch. Move that down. Maybe me to move the eye down along the local or normal. Oh well, it's a bit oblong, isn't it? Oh. Far from perfect, but an intro to modelling this is. Well, let's add a mod generate. Mirror. You want to select that, and in the body, and it'll mirror it along the selected object. You also want to do the same for, because it's not a combined mesh, you also want to do it for that. Generate mirror along there. Same with this. It's not combined, so you can apply that. We won't do that, we'll get into that later, but very simple R2D2 that is, without his middle leg there. Obviously, you know, if we was doing it properly, there's tons more stuff to add, but this is just some simple stuff for now. I mean, we could also go to Object, alright, add mesh, cylinder, scale that, move that there, rotate. He looks like he's got some kind of some kind of eye thing as well there. Right, we go into face mode. Alright, face mode, extrude, scale that, bring that in a bit, scale it a bit more, again, extrude, bring that in, edge, next there, right one there, and there, and if we select, go into select lasso, select all them, look around to make sure you've got the ones you want. Yeah. Right click, extrude along normal, bring that out. Scale that a bit, rotate, bring that in there, rotate it a bit, some kind of simple little scale, move there, rotate there, yeah. It looks like there's a little eye in there as well, doesn't it? What we can do, again, add mesh, sphere, scale the sphere, move it, rotate, scale, rotate, move, just move it into there. A lot of rotating and scaling basically. Scale, move that out. It looks like he's got this little eye on it there now. What we can do, select that, Control P, and then that, Control P. That's because the mirror modifier is not applied, why it's not moved. But it's all parented. We'll clean up that further down the line. Actually, let's just no, we'll leave that for now. That's like a very basic R2D2 character there. We shall try and look into animating further down the line. Very simple R2D2. So let's rename that. Let's F2. Head. Oh, sorry, we've got head, haven't we, for the Minecraft one? Let's call that R2 head. R2I, R2, R2I2. Sounds like another character. R2, I2. There. R2, screen right leg. New collection. R2D2. Character. F2. R2 body. So you don't want to see me naming all that, so what I'm gonna do for now is I'm gonna grab all them, put them into R2D2. And I'll do a bit of clean up and polish on this before we texture it and move on. So let's click that. Click add them. Add that. So there's R2. There's your Minecraft character. What time are we on there? Well, we're on an hour and 11. I don't want this to go longer than an hour and a half. So we're going to do one more. Very simple little model. I need to do 3. Let's just do this simple Kempston joystick next. Take me back to my old specky days, ZX Spectrum. So let's add mesh, cube, Shift S, cursor to world origin, Shift S, selection to cursor. I stuck it down there. Let's move that up. Let's scale that, it's bigger. Let's scale it in Z. Let's move that down. That's your simple base. It's wet me whistle, man. That's your simple base. Let's go edit mode. Loop cut. Add another loop. Transparent mode, vertex mode, select. We're still in lasso. Let's go back to tweak. Sorry, select box. So you selected all them. Scale that as much. Select these faces here. I wasn't in transparent mode, that's why that never worked. Right click, extrude along normals, there's a little groove there. Edge mode. Create a loop cut. Vertex mode, transparent. Select them. Dial. Move that down. Face mode. Let's. Looks like it's inset there, doesn't it? Or reference. Let's inset that a bit. Let's select this vertex here and that one. Move that there. And that's that. Scale. And in Y. Move that there. Extrude. Like it comes up. Bevel. Goes in a bit there. Add. mesh, cylinder. There's a cylindrical shape next. Always think about shape, line and form when you're creating anything really to do with art. Line, shape and form. Let's edit mode. Extrude. Select the face you want. Extrude. Actually, I think inset would be best for that. Inset that a bit. Bring that up. Inset again. There. Extrude. Let's bevel that a bit. In the next part we can add mesh, cylinder. Let's move that up. Let's scale it. Move it down to there. Scale it. Go into edit mode. Transparent. Vertex. Move them up. It looks like you got a nice sphere at the top. You can just go add mesh sphere. Move that up there. Scale it. Move it to there. Scale. Spin around. And there's your simple. Yeah, but that looks like you're going to edit mode there, transparent, scale, looks like it goes a bit like that. That goes a little bit simple. Yeah. And you've got, doesn't look, let's select that one. Looks like it goes as high. So let's move that down. Let's parent that to there. Move the stick. Move that down to there. And it looks like we've got buttons at the front here, you know. So it looks like it comes out a bit kind of thing. What we could do is add mesh, cylinder. Let's move that out there. Scale it a bit. Scale it there. It looks like it's above that groove. So something like that. Not quite as much. Notches out a bit. Maybe something like that. Bit along the lines of that. And then if we're going to edit mode, move that down to there. I mean, what you could do is cut a load of edge loops in. If you wanted it to be, you could cut a load of edge loops in here, and then move them vertices out, kind of thing. If you wanted it to be part of the same mesh. but I'm just trying to mimic it by using 2 meshes. Nothing wrong with that. It can be more, it can cause you problems when you're UVing. Like I say, this is just a simple intro now, so we're not going to be going mad. You're sick of me saying that, aren't you? Do it so you can't see that there. Doesn't nudge out as much though, does it? Let's do that. Then maybe we could select that, select the edges. We nudge that in. Nudge that in there. Well, select them, move that up. There you go. We'll go to generate mirror modifier. Yeah, run it along the y-axis. There you go. Edit mode. Like I say, remember this, none of this is you know, perfect sort of. I'm not creating perfect models here. I'm just giving you an intro to it all. I think we'll select that. Select the vertex there. And there. Just scale that in a bit. I'll scale that in. Move that in. So something along the lines of that. You can use the joystick. And then we go to edit mode, face, select that. You can extrude that up, scale it, extrude that up, bevel it, and select the face there, and just nudge that up a touch. And that's your fire buttons there. Obviously you've got your wire coming out at the front, so if we go to add mesh cylinder, rotate that 90 degrees, scale, move that up, scale, move that in. It deletes on your numpad. I'll zoom you into selected object. Edit mode, face, extrude, scale that. Extrude. That's just going to be a wire. I'm not going to model all that. Does look like there's a few grooves in there. Let's just go groove. Go edge loop, edge loop, edge loop, edge loop, base. So I select them. Right click, extrude along normal. Move that in. Something like that. That's just a simple Kempston joystick. Obviously you can add more cuts and loop cuts and stuff along here. Create more geometry. Yeah, that's just a simple Kempston joystick, basically. Keeping it simple. So yeah, that's the end of the lesson. New collection. Joystick. And before I use this file again, before we move on to another lesson, obviously you want to rename these. Stuff like joystick base. And obviously you want to be parenting things. So you want that parented to the base. Control P. That's obviously going to be parented to the base. So yeah, that's just a simple intro to modelling. We've created simple Minecraft character, R2D2 character. There's your Minecraft character. Kind of canter. Here's R2D2. The basic sort of version, obviously. There's your Kempston joystick. So yeah, that's a complete intro to modelling. So make sure you download the kind of cheat sheet as well. Give you an idea of techniques. Main ones are extruding and adding edge loops. And obviously just line, shape and form. Create your shapes you want. Yeah, so download that. That'll give you a good idea for modelling techniques. Obviously like and subscribe this video, and I'll see you in part 3. Cheers guys, see you next time.